So we've got our Excel sheet. We have to now create values that represent the projectile's motion. So we're going to start at t equals 0. The starting position we've said is 0. The starting y position is 0. Both horizontal x position and y position start at 0. Now we're launching this thing with an x velocity, and we're launching it with an initial y velocity. But you guys are going to have a like vi and a theta. I'm going to pretend for the moment that vi is just 4, and the y velocity is 0 at the beginning. In other words, instead of launching this thing horizontally, right now in this video, I'm going to pretend we are launching it straight horizontally, like this. And then you guys have to figure out how to adapt what I'm doing for your picture. So if I launch it horizontally, then the x velocity is 4, the y velocity is nothing. Okay. I'm going to create an equation, and I want my time to increase by 0.1 seconds. So as I move down the columns, I'm increasing by 0.1 seconds. So here's how you do that in Excel. You can use an equation, and you hit equals to tell Excel, hey Excel, here comes an equation. And then I'm going to take the prior value, and I want to add 0.1, add 0.1 to it, and I hit enter. And then I can click on this, and I can see this corner box right in the corner, that little box right there. If you click it, you get this 4 arrow icon, I'm sorry, the 4 cross icon, not the white icon, the white cross, but the 4 cross icon, the like black one. Click right there, drag down, and voila! It continues to copy the formula. So every single time it copies, it continually refers to the cell above it. If I go down here, it's referring to the cell immediately above and adding 0.1 to that cell. Okay. Next, my Vx is the same throughout, right? So I'm just going to copy this, Control C. I hold Shift and I click to highlight all those cells. Then I do Control V. Now, instead of doing it that way, you can again find this little box in the corner, click it, drag down, like that. Alright, my x position, how do I calculate my final x position after 0.1 second has passed? My final x position, well, I look at my equations. Let's see, x final is this mess times the final time. But I'm just using Vx, right? You guys had a different situation. This is different for you. In my case, I just need my Vx times the final time. So I click on the cells that have the 4 and the 0.1. I don't type in 4. I don't type in 0.1. I just click on the cells because then I can drag this down. And as I do, it continually brings the cell reference, these two references, those get pulled down as well. So I copy and I drag, I paste it all the way down. Now for the y positions. Delta y, what's delta y equal? Delta y, well, I've got my y velocity rather. That's my initial y velocity times the time, final time, plus half of ag times t squared. So my initial velocity was 0, right? My initial velocity was 0. So I click the 0 times my final time plus 1/2 times negative 9.81 times my final time squared, like this. And I hit enter. And look at what happens when I drag this down. You guys see this? Look at this cell. See what happened right here? It brought my Vy down a cell, and I want it to stay up at the top, because that Vy is the very first row. The Viy doesn't change. It should always be the top row. So I want everything else to change. My final time has changed, but I don't want this to change. So how do I tell Excel, don't move this blue reference? How do I tell Excel, don't move the blue reference? Here's what you do. If you go into the formula bar, whoa, can you see that? If you go into the formula bar, you add a $sign in front of the letter, the F, and in front of the number, the 3. So I've now got $F $3. And when I Control C and then Control V, when I drag this down, it does not ever move that blue cell. It stays fixed. Okay, finally my final y velocity. How do I calculate that? Well, let's see. This was, so this is my initial y velocity plus a, 9.81, times the final time. So I do equals to show Excel. I'm doing an equation. What was my initial velocity? It's this. And I don't want that value to change. That's the initial velocity for all of time. And then I add negative 9.81 times my final time. And I hit enter. And I drag these down, either by copying or by clicking the drag button. And then I hit insert, charts. I want a chart and a scatter, the very first option. And it might show up with all this mess here, right? But that's okay if it does. You just kind of click and delete, or you right-click. This is actually what you're going to have to do. Right-click, you hit Select Data. This comes up. Click on everything that's in there, and hit Remove. Click and then hit the Remove button. And now we're going to add a new series. A series is just an XY set of values. The X values we saw were T for every graph. So I go into what I've just done is I clicked in the X values box. Then I clicked and dragged in Excel. I clicked and dragged and highlighted my time values. Then I go into the Y values box. I delete the equals one. And I click and drag what my y-axis should be, which is position. And voila, I hit OK, and look at what we have. Click on the series 1, hit delete, and then click the plus. And we're going to add some axis titles. So you have to add the axis titles, but otherwise, once you get to this step, you create essentially 4 graphs. One is going to have X position on the y-axis, one will have Y position on the y-axis, one will have X velocity on the y-axis, and the final graph will have Y velocity. Okay? That is the assignment. Good luck!